You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 463 for the 16th of July 2023.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Jane.
Hello there, Michelle, and how are we doing this week?
We're doing good. How are we?
Yeah, very good actually, yeah.
I managed to get a show out last week. I had the lovely Kat and Lewis on talking about travelling to the Asian parks. We didn't think we were going to get a show out last week, I must admit.
Yeah, well, you were travelling to the Asian parks and I travelled down to sunny Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Not quite in the same ream, is it really? But, you know.
I know, but one of them was a little bit more kinder to the planet.
Yes, true. Yeah, it was, because I was in my EV car, so yeah.
Absolutely. As of recording today, I am getting a little bit excited. It is, oh my word, Jane, 4 weeks.
Yes.
4 weeks.
Where's that come from, Michelle?
I've no idea. I'm starting to panic. I've not got things organised, but tell you what, we'll have a little chat about that on the Patreon after show that we'll record after this week's Disney Dream Girls podcast. So, Jane, I think the first thing we need to do is a little bit of history.
We have got a little bit of history. We've got a couple of birthdays I'm going to talk about first. Going back to 1946, we saw Muppet performer Dave Goelz born in Burbank, California. So obviously, very famous name as part of Henson Muppets, and he was a Muppet builder, but he also, I suppose, is more known for his voice work. So he was the voice of Gonzo, or is the voice of Gonzo, I should say, and of course Bunsen Honeydew. He also did a few other bits and pieces, and he's currently the voice of Figment at Epcot. There you go. And a little random fact, as a child, he appeared as an extra in the Disney film in 1961, The Parent Trap.
Oh.
Weird little sort of how life comes around in circles, isn't it? 1965, another birthday. Now, this is an actress and writer called Cherie Stoner. Now, Cherie actually served as the animation reference for both Ariel and for Belle in Beauty and the Beast. Now, what I liked about this is the animators worked in some of her little peculiarities, shall we say, into the characters. So, Ariel biting her bottom lip and Belle brushing away her hair from her face are little things that Cherie used to do, and the animators incorporated them into those characters, which I thought was a lovely little homage to her.
And it's very strange that you always hear about the reference model for Tinkerbell, but none of the other characters.
Yeah, there's loads out there, and I think it's just a case of going in and researching, because a lot of the animation, especially in the early days, was all rotoscoping, so you needed the model, because we know like for Alice and Cinderella and people like that, for the animators to use that imagery to create the animations from. Very clever process going back in the day. And then one last little piece of Disney history, from going all the way forward to 1993. And you know, we talk about Halloween and how Halloween seems to start earlier and earlier every year. Well, back in 1993, today, 16th of July, was the release in theatres of Hocus Pocus.
Oh.
So it's not just a recent thing that would bring Halloween so far forward. A couple of little things. One, obviously, when it was released, it probably wasn't the success that we think it was. It's one of those films that came out and didn't really do an awful lot, but it's one of those films that's gained its popularity and its following the more the years have gone on, hence why we've had, Hocus Pocus 2 and that need for merchandise and how it's been incorporated more into the Disney parks. But it was also directed by a chap called Kenny Ortega. Do you know what Kenny Ortega's famous for, Michelle?
The name rings a bell, but you know what I'm like with things like that, Janie.
Well, he's actually a choreographer as well, and he was responsible for the High School Musical films.
Oh.
Yeah,
Something I've never actually watched.
Oh, they're a good romp. They're good old-fashioned sort of Disney Channel, what you'd expect. I watched them many a times with my Molly, and I think she'll probably still watch them now to this day. So, yeah. There you go.
Bless her.
a couple of random bits of facts.
Well, thank you ever so much for that, my lovely.
That's all right.
So, we have a whole host of things to talk about in this week's show because I've been watching the socials and the press releases and bits and pieces that have been going on. And I think the first couple of pieces I want to talk about is a little bit about price increases, Jane.
Seems to be a bit of a commonplace thing at the moment, doesn't it?
So I'm going to read something that has been put out by Disneyland Paris.
Okay.
Dear Annual Pass members, today we are delighted to present our brand new Disneyland Pass programme, available for purchase from the 19th of July. You are one of our most loyal guests and we are grateful for that. We've listened to your feedback and taken into consideration your main expectations as we develop a new programme that provides you with a signature Disney guest experience. I'm just going to repeat a little bit. We've listened to your feedback.
Okay.
That might pop up in our conversation.
Do you think?
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you very soon, the Disneyland Pass team.
Yay.
So,
So,
what guest or guests have they been listening to that have turned round to them and said, Disney, charge me an extra €200 a year for my annual pass? Can we hunt down these Disneyland people and tell them no?
or yeah, or can we hunt them down and can they please pay for me? Because if they want to pay extra, then why don't they just spread the love around?
I don't mind paying extra for the principle of getting more. We've seen that, Disney. You know, we appreciate that. You want a Halloween party, you pay more. You want to expedite ride access, you pay more for Genie Plus. You want to stay after hours and have 3 hours of less queues in the theme park with unlimited Mickey bars and popcorn and soda. Michelle's going to try and get that $120 back from you. But we understand the principle. You pay more to get more.
Yes.
You know, when I bought my new car, I wanted it to have a heated seat, so I paid more to get the heated seat. It's a basic principle of everything. Even at Starbucks, if you want a coffee and you want the whipped cream, you pay a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's called upselling.
Yes.
So, this new, brand new range of Disney annual passes.
Yeah.
Wow. The existing passes and names are going to be gone from July the 19th.
Yeah.
You are invited to cancel your old pass and pay extra for your new pass.
How nice.
Yeah. But these are some of the benefits that they have taken away. Annual pass area for fireworks and parades, hotel discounts, infinity parking, the annual pass entrance, and the discount 20% to 15% on all food and merchandise. Obviously, Disneyland Paris guests have said, no, Disney, I don't want you to give me a 20% discount. It's far too generous. Give me 15.
Yeah. Please take away the parking. Please take away the viewing. Please take away... It doesn't ring true, does it really?
The list goes on of what has been taken away, and it is quite startling that Disney have not listened, because I do not know a single annual pass holder that has said they want to pay more but get less benefits. So we're going to have 3 tiers, and the first tier is €699. Now, they do a deposit scheme where you can pay €204 as a deposit and then 11 instalments of €45.
Okay.
You can gain access every day. You get 15% off merch and restaurants. Parking's included. You get your extra magic time and your Photo Pass Plus.
Right.
Silver is €200 less, which is $499. Again, you get the deposit and payment plan. you get a calendar date where you're allowed access over 300 select days.
Right.
Parking's included.
Mm-hmm.
10% off in shops and merch. And you're allowed to buy the PhotoPass Plus for purchase for €81.
Right.
Then you have your lower tier, which is your bronze, €289. You can get into the park for 170 days, which I am guessing they're going to exclude occasions such as Christmas, Easter and summer, May holidays and things like that.
That's about half a year, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It includes parking.
Yeah.
Bronze members who buy online will only be allowed to reserve 1 day in advance. They can reserve more days after they visit the park on the first day. So the very worst case scenario here is you turn up at Disneyland Paris on your first day, and if it's an incredibly busy time,
you won't be able to get in the rest of the time you're there.
It's like you read my mind.
So what's compelling people then to pay for the base level at €289?
Well, I've spoken to quite a lot of people who have Disney annual passes, and they are not happy.
Well, I think we knew that. I mean, I think Disneyland Paris, my memory serves me right, Michelle, and please correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think we always said that the rate that they were charging for the previous passes was a good rate when you compared it to the American parks.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, everybody has been expecting a large park price increase for a long time, because, you know, you got to the point where if you went for 4 or 5 days a year, it made sense to get an annual pass.
Yes, yeah.
But the discounts that they're removing, it's just, you know, it goes on. You used to be able, on your first day you arrived and your room's not ready, you could leave your bags. Gone. Not free anymore. You can't get free stroller and wheelchair rentals.
Which is a biggie for some people.
A lot of people don't like to take their wheelchairs and pushchairs with them. So this way they could have, you know.
Yeah.
They are saying in return there's going to be 4 annual pass parties per year, tailored to various seasons, and 1 guest will be allowed to go with the holder.
Okay.
There's going to be an exclusive meet and greet, which we all know Disneyland Paris does amazing jobs on their characters.
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
It's a character hunter's dream. Like I posted on Instagram the other day, the picture of the Cheshire Cat, and I don't think we've seen him anywhere else apart from the Asian parks. There's going to be an AP space pop-up used for these meet and greets, sales and events.
Right.
But it's not going to be a lounge.
Okay.
There's some very, very confused and angry and a little bit upset Disneyland Paris annual pass holders are not. There's a little bit of concern over if they don't change over on that day, will the pass that they want when it comes to renewal actually be able for sale? Because we're seeing in the American parks, 1 minute you can buy a pass, then you can't buy a pass.
Yeah, I mean, I think I read somewhere, obviously it was like, you know, the ability to renew effectively if you're already a holder was on the 19th, but then it's a case of when does the rest kick in? And like you say, Michelle, if you've got 6 months to run on your pass or however, then why would you want to renew it now? And yeah, it's a weird one.
There's still some unknown things we don't know, and we're waiting for clarification. So I mentioned that 170 and 300 days where you could get into the park on the bronze and silver. We don't know those dates. There's no information on the disability discount of 25% for the disabled person and the carer, whether that's going to stay or go.
Right.
We don't know whether booking an on-site hotel will enable you to get past the need for a park reservation like it currently does. We don't know if there's going to be any hotel discounts. We don't know whether the annual passes will be usable to attend the annual pass events for the new annual passes.
Right.
So there's still quite a bit of things up in the air that we just don't know.
It's all very confusing, isn't it?
It is, and I know a lot of people who are dedicated to DLP and go 3-4 times throughout the year for long weekends or 4 days here and that. And they've said to me, I'm sorry, it's now not going to make financial sense for me. I'm limited to certain times of the year. I haven't €700 to buy that top level pass. It's now getting to the point where it's probably going to be financially better to save up and go less, but go to Walt Disney World, because there you've got the luxury of 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, and a mini golf place as well.
Yeah, well, I think it's something that I know that as a family we've always talked about, the element of, you could go to Disneyland Paris from the UK, we're talking here, for, I know, a 2, 3, 4 night break, and actually it's not that far off what it costs you to go for, say, 14 nights to Disney World, relatively speaking. It makes Disney World look a better value for money vacation. And it's just sad, really, that obviously people have been used to a certain level for a certain number of years, and whilst I think everybody recognised the prices really were possibly in need of a hike, maybe phase that hike in a little bit more and eased us into it. Because, as you say, without knowing what dates things are available, especially for us coming over from the UK, we might get the benefit of an annual pass and being able to get into the parks or getting the little bits of discounts that they offer. But we've still got to find the finance to get there as well, haven't we?
We shall just wait and see, because this obviously is an evolving piece of news, and we'll get to find out more over the coming weeks up to that date where these passes are going to be available. Jane's got a cruise coming up soon.
Yeah, about 8 weeks away.
It's getting very soon and very close for you. And I know you've already said to me that you're not planning to book any of the upscale dining, such as Paolo or Remy.
No, I think we've mused about possibly doing a brunch, and that's probably as far as it's got. Obviously, you know better than anybody else that Sam and I are very keto-y based dining, and it's kind of having to look at whether it's worth our while to do or not. So it's kind of in the back of my mind, but I'm not like desperate to do, or I'm rushing out to do. So,
Disney Cruise Line have decided to put their prices up a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So you're looking at Paolo brunch going to cost you $50 now. That's a rise upwards from $45. And remember, it had gone up before, only the other year as well, at quite at a quicker rate.
Yeah.
You have the Remy brunch. That has gone up. That has gone from $75 to $80.
Right.
The Remy dinner has gone from $125 to $135.
Ouch.
So, there's that little bit of additions on there. And my understanding is if guests have booked reservations from the 11th of July onwards, they're going to be charged these prices. If you've already paid, then you're okay.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'd read as well, yeah.
So, but interesting times, Jane, interesting times.
Yeah, well, I suppose if I was going to be a cynical person, and if anybody out there watches things like I do, where you're looking at the general financial health of the Disney company as a whole, then you can perhaps appreciate why prices are increasing.
Okay, let's hop on over to something else.
Yeah, what's next?
Britain.
Britain? Yeah, that's where I live, I think.
Rule Britannia.
Yeah.
And all that malarkey.
Okay.
One thing that a lot of Brits love to do when they go on holiday to Walt Disney World is to visit a classic English-style pub, i.e. the Rose and Crown, have a few swift halves maybe, try the Guinness, because, oh my word, there is nothing like having food in a glass, and Guinness is definitely food in a glass. We love it.
It is hearty, yes.
Sometimes there's a piano player. You can just chillax and enjoy the atmosphere of a traditional, very traditional in my mind, English pub, right down to the sticky carpet and the vinegar smell on the tables. But I was looking this week, Jane, and the menu has gone on somewhat of a diet.
Yeah, they've kind of thinned it out a little bit, haven't they?
Find it out. It's virtually disappeared, love. So we skip back a hop, skip and a jump to earlier this year, and when I visited the Rose and Crown and had a wander pass, you had a choice of 6 classic appetisers. You had scallops, you had a apple and frisée salad, you had a trio of United Kingdom cheeses. God bless the cheesemakers. You had Mary and the Lads, which is basically a prawn cocktail. You had the classic Scotch egg, and then you had a bowl of soup.
Okay.
So on that menu, there was quite a lot of things to choose.
Yeah.
And there was variety, and it was quite hearty variety. But then you look at the new menu, you've got a coronation salad, which is a crisp salad with a madras dressing on top of a crunchy grain cracker.
Doesn't sound very British to me.
Well, I do appreciate the history of a coronation salad is back to our wonderful, God rest her soul, Queen Elizabeth II, and she wanted food with flair bringing in for her coronation, and she was quite partial to spiced food. So what she wanted to do is introduce something, and it was like a boneless piece of chicken in a coronation spiced, i.e. curry spiced cold mayonnaise. And I grew up on coronation chicken salad sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, we've all been to a Marks and Spencer's and got them. So I think that, yes, it does kind of fit in with the wonderful evolution of food that we have in the United Kingdom. But it's a salad.
It's just a salad. You haven't even got any chicken with it.
Yeah. Then you have your Scotch egg, $14. You only get one, and it comes with a mustard sauce. And mustard, as we know, classically Coleman's all the way from Norwich.
It should be.
It should be, anyway. So that's your appetizer. So I feel a little bit upset that we've lost some really good classics, like the trio of cheeses could have worked as a dessert or an appetizer. And to be honest, there's not a pub in England you can go to that doesn't have a shrimp or prawn cocktail.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit limited. And that's me being generous with my words.
Yeah. So then we look at the entree menu. So skipping back before, you could get quite a range of classic English fare that you'd see in all pubs.
Right.
You'd get a steak, a ploughman's, which is basically ham, cheese, bread and some little bits and pieces that go with it. Bangers and mash, which is, for those of you who don't speak English as fluently as Jane and I, is sausages. Cottage pie, again, a dish that you would use and make after Sunday dinner on a Sunday. You'd have it Monday night and you'd chop up all the leftover meat and make it into this meat dish with potato on the top. An English breakfast burger.
Okay.
Fish and chips.
Of course.
A corned beef sandwich.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And then a vegetable stone pie, which I think is there as a option for those that are on a vegetable-based eating plan. But interestingly so, on that menu, there still isn't the curry, because I remember going to the Rose and Crown and there's been the curry on the menu, and it's been missing for quite a while and it's not come back.
Oh, yeah.
But you had quite a collection of options. Now you're down to 4. Fish and chips, bangers and mash, shepherd's pie, and then your vegan-esque plant-based diet alternative is a savoury impossible hot pot.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit underwhelmed.
Which, to be honest, Jane, it's not a hot pot. I'm getting technical now. Hot pot comes from Lancashire and it has very thinly sliced potatoes on top.
Yeah.
This isn't a hot pot because it has mash on top. It's basically a shepherd's pie with that impossible meat in it.
Yeah, it's not what I would call a hot pot either, Michelle. And I just think that it's just a very underwhelming. Yeah, fish and chips, bangers and mash, shepherd's pie, they're all very quintessential British dishes. Give them that. But 4 choices?
It's just not great, is it?
No.
It's really shrunk down. The best thing on the menu for me now screams it's going to be that fish and chips. It's $26, but speak to your server and say, could I have an extra piece of fish? They charge it as a sort of like a accompaniment, and then that fish and chip meal would actually do for 2 adults, and you've probably spent $32 on it.
Right.
So that's not so bad. But where I feel the biggest grief, Jane, the biggest remorse is the dessert.
Because we like a good pudding, don't we?
Well, if you remember back, a while back, we had those lovely Jaffa cake tarts, a cheesecake.
Yeah.
We had a Queen's cake, which was basically a bread dish made with seasonal fruit compote, and it came with an eggnog shooter. The sticky toffee pudding, and then for the sort of no sugar added option, there was a yogurt based panna cotta.
Right. Didn't they used to have a trifle as well at one point? I feel like we've discussed that effort a long while ago.
Can I just say it wasn't trifle, Jane?
No,
it was
wasn't.
pudding.
Yeah,
It was slop in a cup.
it was.
The sticky toffee pudding isn't bad. It's not a great one. It isn't technically a pudding because it is a cake.
Right.
It's actually in a bundt tin, so it is a cake.
Oh, okay. So it's not a steamed pudding, right?
That has survived the menu cull, and you
Okay.
can get that for $9.
Right.
But the other dessert has just really blown my mind. When you think of England, you think of walking on the beach, smelling fish and chips, donkeys on the seaside, and then there's a nice ice cream van, and you get a Mr. Whippy with a flake and raspberry sauce, and you eat and enjoy that beautiful, cold, frosty ice cream. What was the key word, Jane?
Cold frosty ice cream.
Yeah.
Mr. Whippy, chocolate, raspberry sauce. Lots of keywords, actually, Michelle.
Yeah. Ice cream.
Ice cream.
England is not famous for gelato.
No.
Why have you put plant-based seasonal gelato with mixed berries on your menu when that should be and belongs in Italy?
It just... Well, kind of going back to what we've just been saying about other cost elements, there's part of me, again, is feeling rather cynical. And I'm saying to myself, well, have they reduced the menu down as a cost-cutting exercise so they're not having to, have more ingredients than they actually need? Or what? I don't know. But it just seems that you've gone from a reasonable choice down to actually very little.
It is quite limited, is that choice. And I will say this now, I'd rather have the slop in a cup trifle than gelato. I'm sorry, it does not fit with our cuisine. Bad trifle is better than gelato because bad trifle at least has some resemblance to being English.
Yeah.
And I know we've got a country of influences from all over the world. We're a very multicultural society, and I love that. But if someone says to me, what's a classic English menu? It would never contain that.
No. And to be fair, Michelle, I've just looked at the kids' stuff as well, and the choices on the kids, knowing what my kids were like in that age bracket, it wouldn't suit them.
Kids, let's go to the United Kingdom and let's have brown rice.
And a house salad to start. Which kids do you know want to eat a salad?
Well, I wouldn't mind, Jane, but I normally love to have the kids' menu. There's no way I'd have that.
Well, no, it's like, I do feel sorry for them because their choice, for dessert, they've got the gelato, so they're the same as us adults, and then they get fruit salad.
Yeah.
Now, unless it's out of a tin with some carnation milk, that ain't British.
Oh, God, please make it with carnation. In fact, you know what, Jane? When I go to Walt Disney World again next, I'm going to order the fruit salad and I'm going to take with me a can of evaporated milk or condensed milk if I'm feeling a little bit splurgy. And I'm going to open it up in the restaurant and eat it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm going to say it kind of makes you feel sad because we are British and we'd like people to be able to, enjoy some good options of British cuisine. And even if they're not 100% accurate, it'd just be nice to think that at least they were trying to create something that represented the United Kingdom. And this kind of feels just very let down, don't you, when you read it now?
I think deflated is the word. Because our
definitely.
lovely, lovely friend Marla Chan, bless her heart, whenever she talks to me about English food, she always mentions Jaffa cakes,
Yeah.
always, and sticky toffee pudding. Because that is what is quintessentially our food. So yeah. I'm a little bit underwhelmed with that, Disney. I think you need to up your game a bit, babes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, we're going to put on our happy face now and trippity-trop over to Disneyland in California.
Oh, okay. What's happening over there?
San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
I'm very excited. It is looking fan-dabby double dozy. There's going to be a Baymax meet and greet,
Nice.
which is so good. Hiro Hamada will be meeting there too. I can't wait to just pop on out and have a big squidgy hug. There's going to be some, well, they call it diverse dining. It's kind of very similar what was there, but a bit of a shake-up. So you're still going to be able to get a frosty margarita. So that's going to be okay. You're still going to be able to get a range of those beautiful boudin bread bowl soups and the like, which I absolutely adore. You know, what is better than being able to have a soup that you can actually eat the bowl as well? Very excited for that. And the Lucky Fortune Cookery is going to be having some sort of tweaks to the menu, but it's that lovely Asian style food that fits in with this theming so fantastically. You know, there's going to be some shops that you can go in, there's going to be that new theming, but deep in the heart of San Francisco is a little bit of pleasure, the Ghirardelli soda fountain and chocolate shop. I cannot wait.
We like a bit of Ghirardelli, don't we?
Oh, well, I'm still mourning the loss of your free chocolate when you went in, because Michelle had to go in and out with several different hats and outfits to get a whole box to give us a gift. But yeah, it's just, I'm really excited. I can't wait to see this part of the park and explore it. And I will be talking a little bit more about my Disneyland adventure in the Patreon after show, which we are going to go and record in a few moments, my darling.
We are indeed, yes.
So things are getting very exciting, Jane. I've got 4 weeks to go. You've got 8 weeks to go. It's just going to be absolutely fantastic. I will be in Disneyland round about the 13th to the 15th. If you are around, let me know. I'm probably having one downtown Disney day, so if you fancy meeting up, doing a bit of shopping, hopping in the Earl of Sandwich for an obligatory sandwich and picking up some of that lovely bread pudding and the brownie for Jane, let me know. Right, Jane, I think we need to put a lid on this podcast, put a bow on it and say fare well. And hop on over to do our Patreon after show. Don't forget, please try and support us over there on that Twitter and Instagram. I am constantly posting things at the moment, and it's always great to have those little conversations with people or likes. And I've actually joined us up on Threads, Jane.
Ooh.
I know.
The times, eh?
And there was me thinking it was a programme from, what, the 1890s or 1980s or something?
Yeah, just another social app to be worried about, yeah.
Yeah. At Diz Dream Girls, go and find us out. You can find our shows on any podcast catching app. If you want to get access to our Patreon, lots of extra podcast madness, exclusive shows and early release of shows, it's patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. And don't forget our website, DisneyDreamGirls.com. I think I've gone everything through the socials there, Jen, apart from Facebook. Disney Dream Girls podcast family, where we share our love of our Disney-driven life. And you will want to be listening in because we have an up-and-coming trip report about the Star Cruiser. Ooh. So then, once you've heard it, you can all go and book your visit on the Star Cruiser. Oh.
No.
No. Oh.
Well.
Oops. R.I.P. Star Cruiser. Anyway, lovelies, thank you ever so much for listening. I hope we have entertained. If you have any comments or feedback, you know our socials, get in touch with us. But until next time, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.